Like most homeowners, we'd had fun in our backyard without giving much thought to what lies beneath. We never imagined we might have our very own archaeological site.
69, so that's exciting.
So meet Connor Rush and Tom Levy, who are basically local amateur archaeologists. They excavate in backyards to collect old bottles and reveal the history of the town. And where they're digging is, of all places, the outhouse. When our house was built in the 1800s, there was no sewage hookup. People had to use the privy. The privy pit also became a trash dump. This organic material was scooped out and carted away periodically, but the trash remained. In the early 1900s, the privy was filled in, leaving a time capsule waiting to be rediscovered. The first step was to find the privy. Tom and Connor went around the yard with a steel rod, poking it like a pincushion to probe the soil consistency.
Okay, we think we found the outhouse.
Eventually, they found a patch that was looser. In the center of the area, it was easier to push down on the rod, indicating there had been a hole that was filled in. A couple of days later, they came back to dig. First, they carefully removed the turf, then they started to shovel and axe away. The hole, it turns out, had been filled in with stones as well as dirt, so it was hard work.
It's a tedious one. A lot of compact gravel and dirt, which makes it hard to put a shovel in, so you gotta loosen up with the pick and then scoop it out with the shovel.
A few feet down, though, they started to find some artifacts. Of course, that complicated the digging because now they had to be careful not to break any of the finds. You could really see the shape of the privy pit and the stone lining. They brought up all sorts of stuff, fragments of teapots, soup tureens, mixing bowls, vases, plates, medical flasks. But the deeper they went, the harder and the muddier it got. About 8 feet down, they reached the end.
We're done, we're at the bottom. Right down to the bottom.
It was late in the day and time to fill the hole back in. After we cleaned up the artifacts, Connor came over to review the highlights.
Some of the nicer bottles we found. This is a Warner's Safe Kidney and Liver Cure from Rochester, New York. And as you can see, it has a big safe embossed on the front of it. It was a very popular product back in the 1880s, and I figured this one is from the early...
This was an interesting clue for us because our other historical research had shown that the original builder's son-in-law was sick just around that same time. In fact, there were more medicine bottles than anything else.
These are small little prescription pill bottles. These would have been filled by the local doctor for somebody who obviously was sick for a very long time.
We also enjoyed hearing other details about life over 130 years ago.
You can assume that there was somebody in the house that commuted to New York, and they would have bought this bottle there, drunk the product back here, and just tossed it into the privy. So these soda and beer bottles are nice to find. Here's a cool ink bottle. You can see with the nice sort of barrel shape on it. The top, it's early 1880s, and it's embossed with Stafford's ink on the side vertically. As you can tell, it has ink in it. This was another ink bottle, a little stoneware one.
So how does the amount of material here compare to what you've collected elsewhere?
Sometimes you find nothing.
Wow.
So we did okay.
So the next time you're out in your yard, think about what may be under your feet. For the Glenridge Historical Society, I'm George Musser.